you are able to comment. So feel free to send those comments. If you have any questions, feel free to ask those questions throughout the session. There's no need to wait until the end. I'll make sure to get to those questions. Okay. So we're going to start with what are values. So values are people, things, and places that are important to you, and they do guide the way that you make decisions. So again, they guide the choices that you make, how you spend your time, how you spend your money, and the goals that we set. And oftentimes we don't really think of how our values are impacting, the way that we are spending money. But it does have an impact. We don't really think, but we can ask ourselves, like, how do I constantly spend money on? Is it maybe on going out? Is it maybe adventures? Maybe going on vacations? Maybe it's skincare. That's self-care. So how do we spend money? Is it buying food for our family? That means that we value our family. What purchases make you feel good? And what are you willing to save for? I know sometimes it's really difficult to start a emergency savings fund, but it may be easier for us to save for maybe a vacation. Maybe it's easier for us to save for something that we really want. Maybe that's a way for us to get motivated to start saving, because we know that if something happens, we're going to have the savings set aside. But also for other things as well, like I mentioned, maybe for a vacation, maybe for an item that you've been wanting, we can, you can make that goal. And for the first activity that we have, so we do have what would you do? So imagine that you unexpectedly received $500. What would you most likely do? So we have 4 different options. For A, we have save most or all of it. B, pay bills or debt. C, buy something you've wanted. D, split it between several priorities. So how would you most likely spend this $500 that you unexpectedly receive? Okay, so what might your choice reflect? So let's say that you chose A. That means security. So if you mostly save all of your money, you want to feel secure. You want to know that you have, again, some money set aside for maybe an emergency, maybe again for something that you want. If you buy that item, you know that it came from your savings. It's not going to impact your upcoming paycheck. Let's say you chose B, responsible. You want to make sure that your bills are getting paid on time. Maybe you want to reduce your debt faster, so you're going to maybe put those $500 to your debt. C, enjoyment or self-care. Maybe you've been working really hard and it's an item that you've been wanting for a long time, and that's just the perfect time to get that item. Or maybe D, you had a balance, you wanted to maybe put some on savings, put some for debt, and also be able to enjoy something for yourself, maybe self-care, maybe um, going out for dinner, maybe again, maybe buying an item for yourself. So it could look different ways. There's no right or wrong answer for this question. It just depends on how we're feeling right now. This could change. Maybe 6 months from now, you're going to be saving all of it. Maybe you're going to put it into paying bills. It could all change. And that's the nice thing about this, is that we are able to change these behaviors. We're able to change these habits. Okay. And then we have our second activity. So which person sounds more like you? So we have 4 different people. So we have Alex. They love sales. They like to save money, and they think before purchasing. And then we have Ash. They love experiences, but they do tend to buy impulsively because they like to live in the moment. We have Jesse. They do like to budget every month. They pay bills early. They research their purchases. And then we have Sam. They avoid checking their accounts. They feel stressed about money. and they tend to delay their financial decisions. So take a few seconds to see which person you sound more like. Okay, and I see that Michael says Ash, so loves experiences, tend to buy impulsively and live in the moment. So yeah, and it could be more than one person. It could be that you are Ash and Jesse at the same time. So, for me, I would say that I am between two right now. I feel like as of lately, I've been more about Sam, which avoids checking their accounts, and a little bit of Jesse because I do like to budget. But we always have our ups and downs. So it could be, again, you have um, different things from each person, and again, it could change. So this doesn't define your future. It could always change. We just have to be aware of where we are at right now. So if we are like Sam, that they like to avoid checking their accounts, they feel stressed about money. What are ways that they can change? What are ways that they can improve? Because we don't want to always feel stressed. We don't want to always delay financial decisions just because we don't feel ready. We may want to be like Jesse, that they budget every month, they pay bills early. So again, we do have to be aware of where we are at right now in order to make those changes. And it's not going to happen overnight. It is going to take some time. But again, the first step is to be aware. So where are we right now? Um, and if we want to make those changes, we do have to work on that. And we're going to talk about that in today's presentation. Okay. And like I was saying, financial behaviors can change. Um, Everyone has different financial behaviors. Maybe you were Ash, maybe you identify more with Jesse, maybe it was Sam. And our behaviors are influenced by people. So it could be family, maybe experiences, stress, income, goals. And again, it doesn't define your future. We are always able to change them. And going more into depth about how influences do impact the way that we make choices. We have family. Family plays a big role in how we see money now as adults. Let's say that if, as we were growing up, our family they had a budget, they had a savings. As an adult, we more than likely have a budget. We know how to save money. But let's say that our family they struggle with money. They did not have the privilege to have the financial education, to know how to budget, to know how to manage money. Now we may struggle with money. We may struggle on budgeting. We may struggle on savings because we didn't learn that. So again, how we grew up is playing a role right now with how we see money. Friends could help us, or friends could also um, make us be more behind because we may want to go on vacations, we may want to go on trips, we may want to buy things with them. So we do also, they do play a role. I think one of the biggest ones right now is ads. And it goes with social media because we see ads everywhere. If we go on TikTok, if we go on Instagram, YouTube, everywhere, we see ads. And they do play a big role because they do spend a lot of money to try to, get us to spend money. We're going to talk about that a little bit later too. And then culture. Depending on our culture, maybe we were told that it wasn't okay to talk about money. We had to keep it private because we don't want to seem as showing off. We have to keep finances private. So now we don't want to talk about money. Our emotions. Are we stressed? Are we making decisions when we're stressed? When we tend to be stressed, we don't really think about we don't really think clearly about the decisions that we're making. We may be getting a loan that has a really high interest rate, but because we need the money right now, we say yes without really thinking about the end cost of this loan income. Depending on the income that we have, it may be that we're overspending. We may not have enough money for all the things that we may want. And lastly, financial education. If we didn't grow up with that financial education, may be a little bit more difficult for us um, to know how to save, know how to invest, maybe know how to budget. Um, so again, we are able to make those changes. We are able to change things. Um, and again, we're going to talk about that right now. So influences can be productive. If we learn how to budget from parents, we more than likely have a budget. If we're watching financial education videos, if we have supportive friends. It could be also productive, impulse buying, especially with social media. Keeping up with trends. Maybe there's new trends like there was with the Labubus. Everyone wanted Labubu, so I think now it's needles. So there's always trends, and it's always about buying money, about making purchases, and that means spending money. So we do want to be mindful of that. And then we have emotional spending, as I was mentioning. Maybe we're stressed. Maybe we're too happy right now that we just want to buy an item and we go to the store. We maybe get it online without actually thinking of the cost. So we do have to take a pause, take a break before we make any type of purchase. Okay. And we do have social pressure and ads, as I was mentioning, and they do spend a lot of money to influence how we spend money. So some of those ways include the limited time offers. So let's say that they said today's the only day. If you don't buy it today, you won't be able to get it at this price. Or the buy one get one. It could be buy one get one 50% off, buy one get one free. But it makes it seem like it's a deal. But for the most part, what they tend to do is that they increase the price. So they increase the price to make it seem like you're getting a deal. It makes you feel good, thinking that you are saving money. We have free shipping. Usually, it's you get free shipping if you spend $50 or more, but the item that we wanted is only $15. So now we are trying to look for more items that we don't really need or we don't really want, but because we have this free shipping offer, we're gonna look for more items. Influencer marketing, again with social media, influencers are a big thing right now. They may be promoting products, they may be promoting venues, adventures, anything. And because we follow them, we like their content, we may also buy the products that they are selling, go to the places that they are marketing. And also we have personalized online ads. Now it's easier for them to get our information just because um, pretty much every site that we visit, they are able to track what we're looking at, what we're searching up. Maybe we're thinking of getting a new TV. We're gonna see an ad on TikTok about a TV. We may see an ad on Instagram about a TV. Just because it is easier for them to be able to track what we're looking and be able to personalize that ad just because you were looking something up. Have any of you have any experience with falling for any of these promotions or marketing strategies that advertisers have? Yes. Yes. Okay. Yes. Do you mind sharing what was the marketing buy one get one? Yes. I feel like that gets everyone because again, we're thinking that we're getting a deal because it's buy one get one, but it's just that they increase the price for that item. Okay. So we talked about again how our values impact the way that we spend money, the way that we see money. We talked about those influences, which could be family, which could be friends, ads. We talked about how ads spend a lot of money to get us to spend money. Um, But we also want to be able to recognize those tactics. We want to be able to create financial goals that are going to help us prevent from overspending money or spending money when we don't really, um, we don't, when we can't spend money, or maybe we don't plan on spending that amount of money. So we do have to notice when and where we're tempted. Maybe it's a specific store. So let's say that we like going to Target. If we like going to Target, we know that we're going to spend at least $100. So if we already know that, maybe, try not to go to Target as often, just because we know we're going to spend $100 in that store. Control your environment. So one of the things that we can do is, if it's not on the list, it doesn't exist. So this is especially for like grocery shopping. Sometimes we go to the market, we don't really have a list. So we go through the different aisles. We end up getting items that we didn't plan for. So what we can do is that we can create a list. So we can create a list, and if it's not on the list, it doesn't exist. What are ways that you all have, try to stay focused on your finances so you don't overspend money? I know what some other people have done is that they take the amount of, um, let's say that they are planning on spending $100 for groceries. They only take $100. They leave their debit card, their credit cards at home. That way, they only spend those $100. Um, Michael mentioned track spending each week. I think that's a great way for you to identify maybe if you overspend, or maybe identify um, items that you didn't plan for. So maybe you can adjust your budget for the following week. If you maybe overspend, you can find ways to reduce your spending for the following week. So yeah, okay. Other ways that you are able to stay focused is thinking about how many hours do you have to work for that item. So let's say that we're planning on buying an item that's $100, and just to make it simple, we get paid $20 per hour. So if it's $100 divided by 20, that's going to be 5 hours that we have to work to pay for that item. So is it worth it? Is it worth 5 hours of our of our workday? Um, I know that this helps a lot of people thinking of it that way, just because they have to think of the work that they have to put. How much of their work day is it going to take just to purchase that item? Okay. And Michael mentioned the Apple Card tells you where you're spending monthly. So yeah, it could be I know that most banks now, they do offer that. They do tell you where you're spending money. They do offer you like a chart, just for you to be able to know where you're spending more money. Um, it has helped me in the past, just because I may have overspent on going out, and it does show me like, oh, you spend on entertainment this amount of money, and I hadn't planned on spending that much money. So again, I go back and I adjust my budget for the following week. So those could be useful. Okay. So we're gonna move into talking a little bit more about goals. So for goals is thinking about the future that you want. So these are your hopes and your dreams. Do you want to have a savings for any emergencies? Do you want to save for a vacation? Do you want to save for a car? So what are your hopes and dreams? So these are your desired results. And financial goals can help us again stay motivated, prioritize our spending, build savings, reduce stress. Just because once we know, we want to, let's say the example of saving money, we want to save money. Um, it's going to help us be more motivated to track our spending, track our money. Where is everything going? Because we have this goal of, let's say, $1,000. We want to save $1,000. How can we do that? Is it going to require for us to maybe, reduce how much coffee we are buying from Starbucks? Is it going to be that we may have to cancel some memberships? Maybe you have to cancel Hulu. Maybe you have to cancel Netflix because we're not really using it. So it's going to be a way for us to put the money into our savings. It also reduces stress because again, if we know that we have money set aside for something, we are able to use that savings, and we don't have to worry about impacting our upcoming paycheck. And as I was mentioning, a lot of people do like to create a financial goal for savings. So one of those, how you can do that is thinking about how much you have to save. What are you saving for? Is it for emergencies? Is it for a new TV? Is it for a new fridge? So what is it that you're saving for? And how much does it cost? It's going to be 1,000. Is it going to be maybe only $300? And how much of that do you have to save? Maybe you already have $100 set aside, or maybe you don't have anything, so it's going to be the full amount. And by when do you want um, to buy that item or have the savings? Is it maybe 6 months? Is it 12 months? So we have to think of those things. In this example, we're going with the emergency savings. They want to save 1,200 in 12 months. So they're going to be they want to do it on a weekly basis. So it's going to be 1,200 divided by 52. That's 52 weeks in a year. So they have to save $23.25 per week. And when we see it this way, it's more manageable for us to save $23.25 per week instead of just putting aside 1,200. So again, it's more manageable if maybe we want to do it bi-weekly because we get paid bi-weekly. It's going to be 46.50. So $46.50 that we have to save on a bi-weekly basis. If we maybe want to do it monthly, it's going to be about $100. But let's continue with the weekly one. So after 12 months, this person is going to have $1,209. And again, it's more manageable and it seems more feasible to do $23.25 per week instead of just putting the full 1,200 into a savings account. Because maybe we're not able to do the 1,200 right now. We can start slowly. And 12 months may seem like a long time, and it is going to take commitment. Maybe sometimes we are not saving on a weekly basis, but we can always go back. We can always go back to, instead of saving 23, we double it because we were not able to do it the week before. And it could always change. It could decrease the amount. It could increase the time that we are saving the money for. It could always change. So it doesn't have to be, that once you set your goal, that's going to be it. You are able to change your goal. If your situation has changed, you are able to change your goal. Okay. So we're going to start talking about SMART goals. This type of goals, they could be short term, 3 to 6 months, medium term, 6 to 12 months, or long term, it's 12 months or longer. For short term, let's say that it could be you want to start budgeting, or maybe you want to start tracking your credit score. For medium term, it could be that you want to set up a savings fund for maybe vacation. Long term is that you want to improve your credit score by 20 points. So based on the goal that you want to accomplish, it may take 3 months, it may take a year. So think of your goal, think how long you think it's going to take, and again, you can always go back, you can always change the term. So it doesn't have to stay. If you, let's say that you decided for 6 months, it could change to 12 months. So you can always make those adjustments. Okay. So for SMART goals, for those of you who have not heard of SMART goals, so it stands for specific, measurable, action-oriented, reachable, and time-bound. So specific, what exactly do you want to accomplish? Measurable, how are you going to be able to track your progress? Action-oriented, what actions do you have to take? Reachable, is it something that you are actually able to do right now? Time-bound, by when do you want to reach this goal? And we are actually going to go through the steps of setting those SMART goals, and we are going to also provide an example. In this case, it's going to be the emergency savings. So again, for specific, your goal should be clear and specific. I know a lot of times we say, I want to save money, but we don't say how much money we want to save. When we just leave it open, we are not really motivated. We don't have an amount that we're trying to target. So we may lose interest in continuing saving because we don't have a set amount. Once we reach, let's say that for this example, we have $600. Once we reach those $600, it feels good because we were able to accomplish that goal. We had a target and we were able to reach that target. So that's why it's important for your goal to be clear and specific. And step two, it's going to be measurable. So you should be able to track your progress. In this case, they're going to save $50 on a monthly basis. So for this person, they're going to be able to count the money. They're going to be able to track how much money they have saved. So by saving $50, by the end of the 3 months, they should have $150. So they are able to check that. If they're saving that in cash, they are able to count it. Either putting it in a savings account, they are able to open up their savings and see that that amount has reached 150. Step three, we have action oriented. So you should have concrete steps to achieve your goal. So what steps do you have to take? In this example, they're going to set up automatic transfers of $50 on a monthly basis to go directly to their savings account. Let's say that you want to maybe check your credit score. Maybe for you, it's going to be to create an account with Credit Karma or maybe with Experience. So what steps do you have to take for you to accomplish that goal? And then we have step four, reachable. So your goal should be realistic and attainable. For this example, we have saving $50 on a monthly basis. Is realistic and affordable based on their current spending plan. Let's say that your goal is to save money. We don't want to set an amount that's not realistic for us right now. So let's say that we want to save the same amount, $600, but instead we want to do 6 months, so we want to save $100. But right now, we're not able to do $100 based on our expenses, based on our income. We're not able to save $100. So we do have to be realistic because we don't want to again set goals and then we are not motivated just because we're not able to save that amount. So choose an amount that's going to be realistic. Again, in this example, it's $50 on a monthly basis. But if it's less, if it's $10, if it's $5, put that amount. And just because it's a smaller amount, doesn't mean that it's not going to, achieve the same thing, because it is. After a few months, you're going to start seeing that amount grow. And in this example, I've been saying the savings, which I do highly recommend that everyone have a savings. Again, if you are able to start with $1, $5, $10, start a savings, just because it is helpful. It does help a lot. So if you're not able to do $50, do the amount that you're able to, but do it based on your expenses and the income that you have. And then we have step five, time bound. So setting a deadline for that goal. So for this example, they're going to save $600 within 12 months. And again, we do want to have a specific time frame. For this example, I would even go more like saying by December 15, 2027. Or depending on how long you want to do it, I would try to have a specific day. Again, it could always change, but we're more motivated knowing that by that day we should be at a certain progress. So If you're able to do a specific date, I highly recommend that you do a more specific date. Okay. And putting it all together, so your SMART goal should sound like, I will save $50 every month for the next 12 months to have an emergency fund of 600 by setting up automatic transfers every month. So now you have how much you're going to save, how much on a monthly basis you have to save, by when, which is 12 months, you're gonna uh, have that goal accomplished, and the steps that you have to take. This person, they have to set up their automatic transfers on a monthly basis. So again, you want your goal to be clear, to be specific, to have a timeline, to have those steps. Um, and again, it could always change. But at least if you want to, start a goal, it could be maybe the same one. It could be the same as saving for a emergency savings, which is $600. It could be, instead of a emergency fund, it could be for a vacation. So having a goal is going to be more motivating, just because again, we have an idea of where we want to be 12 months from now. We know that in 12 months we're going to have those $600. Maybe because right now it's more difficult for us to just save $600, we can do it over time. And if you were able to, or maybe you have an idea of a goal that you may want to accomplish, a financial goal, what is that goal? What is that financial goal that you want to accomplish? Buying a car. Okay. So yeah, buying a car. I think that's a great goal to start. You may have an idea of which car you want to buy. You have an idea of how much it costs. So you can start thinking of that. Maybe, if you are going to finance your car, you do need to have a good credit score. So it also means that you have to check your credit score. You have to work on your credit score. So it could be multiple goals at the same time that are going to, make you reach the same outcome, which is maybe for Michael, it's going to be buying a car. So um, maybe a goal, could have different steps, or maybe you can do a big goal into smaller steps. That way it doesn't feel like a lot. And then Michael asked, what should I do when family or friends pressure me to spend money that I did not budget for? I think that's a hard conversation to have with families, especially when they expect us to help them when maybe they are having difficulties with their finances, or maybe they're planning an event and they didn't ask if we were able to help. And like Michael asked, well, what can we do? Um, okay. So what can we do? I think is setting those boundaries of let's say that we're not able to help them right now. It's just being clear with them, telling them that we're not able to help them right now. Explain your situation, that maybe you have a goal. You have a goal of buying a car. So we are trying to save money for that, and unfortunately, right now it's not the right time for you to, spend money, or you're not able to help them. But we do want to make it clear to them that it's not that we don't want to, it's just that it's not possible right now. And then it's better to start with a very small goal and increase it later. You can. I do recommend that, just because, again, you don't feel overwhelmed. If you start small, it's going to help you with your bigger goals later. So, yeah. And you're more likely to achieve your goals if you write them down. So if you're able to, pen and paper, write down your goal, post them. You can put it on a sticky note, put it somewhere that you are able to see it every day. Maybe you put it in your monitor on your laptop, somewhere that reminds you, of that goal that you have. Share them if you're not close with your family, close friends. You feel comfortable, you trust them. You can share that goal with them. They can help you be more accountable for that goal that you are trying to accomplish. Focus. If again, if maybe we like to go to Target and we go to Target and we have a bunch of items in our cart, maybe think of the goal that we are trying to accomplish. Is it really necessary to buy these items, or do we, is it the right time right now? I do want to save money for a car. Is this going to, keep me behind from that? How do I balance donating to causes I care about? How should I budget for that? That's a great question. So, I think for some people, they value donating, they value helping others, they value giving back to the community. And it's a great way, for us to um, make that change, make that impact. And sometimes it could be difficult, maybe with our expenses, maybe with our budget. We may want to help, but we may not have the means. But one of the ways that we are able to is again creating a budget. I think that's one of the biggest things is having a budget. Going over the expenses that you have. Is there an expense that you can maybe reduce? Is there an expense that you can eliminate? If you are able to reduce one of those expenses, maybe if you are able to eliminate um, that expense, maybe that could go into donating. Uh, and there's other ways of donating. Maybe you can donate your time. Um, yes, sharing things from the nonprofit or for the organization or church that you are trying to help. So, but I would say having a budget is the first step. How do you stay motivated when reaching a financial goal takes a long time? Um, as I was mentioning, we can maybe cut the goal into like smaller ones. That way, we know that we're working towards that goal. So depending on the goal that you are working on, maybe there's ways for us to make smaller goals that could help us, continue being motivated to work on that bigger goal that we have. Let's see. Okay. So that's all that I have for today. If you have other questions, feel free to continue, sending those questions. Um, I'll just continue to mention about Spark.OC. It is a free financial coaching. It's one-on-one. Um, if you are interested, you can scan the QR code. You can go to the website to submit that interest form. What are some practical ways to stop making impulse purchases? That one's a little bit difficult because again, it does have to do with our own behaviors. So we do have to identify what causes for us to make those impulse purchases. When is it that we are making those impulse purchases? Is it when maybe we are stressed? Is it maybe when we are too happy? And what we can do is taking a pause. Um, and what I usually do, because I also had that habit of just making impulse purchases, what I do now is that if it's let's say for example it's on Amazon, I put it on the cart and I just leave it there for a few days. If I don't, feel like I have the need for it or I don't buy it, then I can just remove it from my cart because it's not something that I really needed. So another good way would be to again take the pause, but wait 24 hours. Wait 24 hours to see if it's something that you actually want. Because sometimes we buy an item, we take it home, and then we are like, I don't really need this, or I have no need for this. So maybe taking that 24 hours to think of if we actually need the item. What kind of help would a SparkPoint financial coach provide that is different from attending this workshop? Yeah. So for the main difference between this workshop and the financial coaching is that it's one-on-one. So it's going to be more tailored to your needs. It's going to be more based on your financial situation. So they are going to go over your budget, your expenses that you have, the income that you have. If you want to improve your credit score, they're going to see what you have on your credit report. So it's again one-on-one. It's more personalized for you. It's one-on-one located in one of the locations. We do have 9 locations throughout Orange County. Some of them are in elementary schools, others are in community centers. So based on your location, so let's say that you are um, in Anaheim and you have a child attending one of the Magnolia school districts, you are more than likely be connected to that specific financial coach. So it's based on your location that they're going to connect you to that person. Um, and you don't have to go in person if you prefer Zoom. You do have the option of doing Zoom. Well, thank you, everyone. It was a pleasure, to present on this topic. I hope that you were able to learn something. Thank you for all of the questions. I hope that I was able to, answer them and give you the answer that you were looking for.
Right on. I love it. Thank you so much, Adolfo. I'm going to give you a round of applause. That was awesome. Thank you again for presenting to our questions, to our audience, to being very detailed for the SMART goals and answering, like I said, those questions that our donors and our audience are watching. And thank you for this amazing partnership. For those that could not make it, we will watch this stream afterwards, and we'll make sure to share the resources that we talked about today. And once again, thank you so much on the behalf of Radiant Health Centers. That was amazing. Thank you so much. Until next time.